Baptist Church. Because we're not able to meet for Sunday school and discipleship training, I wanted to offer to you a discipleship video series that I'm going to call 3-Minute Theology. So theology is the study of God. He is the greatest being that ever was, is, or is to come. And so if we are his people, we want to know him and to love him. In order to love him properly, we have to know who he is. And so today, we're going to have our 3-minute theology. 3 minutes, no more, no less. So let's jump right in. When we say theology is the study of God, we want to ask the question, how can we know God? How can we study him? And there have been at least 3 ways throughout human history that humans have tried to know God. And we want to look at them today. The first way that humans have tried to know God is through what we call mysticism, or through feelings. We are feeling creatures. There's nothing wrong with our feelings. We experience them all day. But mysticism says that we know God through just feeling him to be so. How do we know that God is love? Well, I just feel it. How do I know that God is this or that? Well, I just have a feeling, where I have something about me that says that that is true. It's a feeling. Well, that falls short, because feelings, as you know, they come and go. They can change. I can feel one way one day and feel another day another way. So what's another foundation people have built their knowledge of God on? Well, the other knowledge is what we call empiricism, or sense knowledge. This is your 5 senses, right? We can see it, we can hear it, we can touch it, we can taste it, we can do all these things to it. Does that make it true? Well, this is what the scientific method is built on. And so how do we know that sheep are woolly? Well, we can see that it has that texture. We can feel that it has that texture. And so we know, based on that sheep are woolly. But as you know, there are some things that we cannot see, we cannot taste, we cannot smell, we cannot hear. And so how do we know what they are, right? How do we experience that? There are some things that we know to be true, but they aren't based on senses or observation. And this leads us to where Christians are, and that is, we believe in revelation. What we believe chiefly is that God is so great a being that the only way that we can know him is if he reveals himself to you. Revelation is what we call it. So one of my favorite theologians, Carl F.H. Henry, says that revelation is when God forgoes his divine privacy so that he can reveal himself to us. There is nobody who has a right to privacy, ultimately, except for God himself. He knows everyone and everything, and he can close that off and not tell us anything. But in his grace and his mercy, he reveals himself to us. And he does that chiefly in 3 ways. He does that in creation. We see God in creation. We see God in his word. And ultimately, we see God in Christ Jesus. God has spoken. We can know him. And so in these next few videos of 3-minute theology, we want to make sure that we are listening to what God has said, because they are the very words of life.